This is how we do it.
Everybody, welcome to the East Coast Red and Gold podcast. I'm Niners Jess, along with Ty Alston, Maddie B, and your girl Bex. We are back. What's going on, Faithful?
We back, baby. Feels good.
If we took the bye week last week, maybe the 49ers thought they were taking a bye week, and that's what happened. Like, maybe we just created confusion.
I like your line of thinking there, Matt.
That's what I'm thinking happened.
Yeah.
That's
They forgot that they had a game because we didn't have a show.
Correct. It can, hurt, like it's just one of those deals. It's one of those checkpoints. Like it gets you through your week, right? Like even Jameson today, like Jameson's like, oh wait, it's Wednesday. You got the podcast tonight, right? I'm like, yeah, like set your watch by it. Like, probably messing people up. And, for that, we apologize to the faithful because it was probably our fault. Also, if we'd been here last week, I also would have told you guys that the 49ers haven't won in Minnesota since I was a freshman in high school. So I wouldn't expect it this week either, just because that's kind of how it works for whatever stupid reason. And sure enough, here we are again, streak intact, guys.
Another one in the college.
And another one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was hopeful. But the other part of me was like,
a realist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A reality set in.
It's just this weird karmic imbalance, and I don't understand it. It's just, I don't know. Like it's the revenge thing, and it wasn't so much revenge. Like you knew Sam Darnold wasn't coming back here this year because he wanted to go be a starter somewhere, right? Like, he's not coming back to get us, but like you knew that Kyle had trained him specifically for this opportunity, right? So he was going to take advantage of it. So now he gets to practice play against a team that, he practiced against all last year. And OPS, Justin Jefferson's out there too, as opposed to any of the wide receivers that were on our team. So yeah, absolutely. Week 2, look, 94, they lost in week 2. They still won the Super Bowl, right? They lost in probably the second, that was the hottest game they've ever played. I believe Sundays was the second hottest game that they've ever played in. Like it all just evens out, man. They'll win this week. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it was definitely warm in there.
Jess and I were talking about this beforehand. When does George Kittle ever leave the field because he's cramping up, or like if there's anybody that has ever taken, if any pro athlete has ever taken what some of you that were in the military that were out there will remember or played on sports teams or whatever will remember the various color of P chart, and like if it's a different color, like you're just selfish and you're detrimental to society or whatever it is. Like he has never gotten to that point. It's always clear, white, ready to go. And in this case, if he's getting hauled back to the locker room, there's like they're playing in a greenhouse, clearly. And from what Jess said, like it was probably as hot in there as it was in Atlanta when they opened the roof up a couple of years ago. And that was brutal.
That was.
And that game, I sat in the sun.
Yes. You sat directly in the sun in Georgia in October.
Yes. And it was hotter in Minnesota.
Wow. Because I had to get up. I stood along the rail in the end zone at the restaurant because it was so hot in Atlanta in the sun.
Yeah, it was definitely, it was a bit warm in Minnesota. Terradome, it could be the lighting.
No, I did shave off the mustache. I just went like,
oh, look at you.
I even like trimmed up the sides a little bit too. Which
looking at me like profile.
Wow.
Cleans up good.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So there you are.
Nicely.
Good looking out,
All right.
Pterodome. Good looking out, buddy.
Yeah,
and he put
Mr.
bright lights on so
Mr.
everyone
Birkin.
would notice. You notice the lighting
Right, yes.
right to Pterodome.
And the neon lights actually work this evening. The fluorescent
wanted
lights
you to
excuse me,
notice.
actually work this evening. It's exciting.
All right, so
In
let's
the
get
veil.
going before Maddie has any
Technical.
connectivity issues.
Love how we're blaming me now. I've been good for 3 weeks. Leave me be. Shh.
He's
Y'all are
fine.
gonna
He's golden.
jinx it.
Try not to jinx it. All right, so let's talk about this game. I don't even know where to start. But I'm gonna start here with the O-line.
See what happens when people hold out? I don't care if you are Trent Williams. You need reps. You need to be in. You need to be in practice in the game with the boys, getting those reps in, getting football ready. What I saw was a whole lot of people getting past what ordinarily they would not. And I only got to watch a 15-minute highlight reel. I can watch the whole game.
Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, it was just a bad game for the O-line. I mean, it's funny how we used to persecute the right side of the line and praise the left side. And this game is like the complete opposite. The left was worse than the right. I mean, Trent got beat. Aaron Banks was getting beat. We're not even going to talk about Jake Brendel, whatever his name is. We're going to call him just
Olay.
Yeah, Olay from now on, because
We call him the Matador.
Getting real tired of seeing him getting blocked onto his butt every week. Like it's bad. It's bad. They got whipped. And I know Flores did a lot. He would rush 4, then rush 7, then rush 3. They never saw the same pass rush twice. But still, you think they'd be able to handle it. And it seems like they didn't. It was one of the uglier games for the offensive line that I think I've seen in a while. Just because, just like everyone was getting beat at points. It was just bad. So that was the start of the issues for the team.
Yeah, Trent Williams was probably responsible for at least 2 of the 6 Brock Purdy sacks. Just, being there, whether you were there like I was or, watching on TV, it was incredible to see the O-line just collapse the way they did.
Mm-hmm.
Even like, Colton McKivitz, like, being tossed around like a rag doll. Ty mentioned Jake Brendel. It was unreal. And, Brock didn't have that much time. And then when he did have the time, like, hello, Brandon Ayuk, where are you? Debo played his ass off.
Yes, he did.
George Kittle did well. Even Juice got involved as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the O-line, they knew it was coming. They knew it was coming. They knew what to expect from Brian Flores. And it's like they weren't prepared.
Just played him last year. Like,
right. And they, what? They were definitely outcoached. They were outcoached. They were outplayed. And it's completely unacceptable.
And even only getting to watch the highlight reel when Brock was under pressure, like he threw the laser to Juice with the toes in bounds, and he hit Ayuk with a really spot on under pressure, like off balance kind of throw. And I was like, so it really, I don't feel like maybe Brock did have a worse game than I saw, but just the highlights that I could, get my hands on tonight seemed like Brock was having a pretty decent game. He threw for a lot of yards, seemed to hit a lot of targets, but just seemed to be under pressure a lot, every play from what I could see. But I mean, you were there, so you would know more than me, but it just seemed like they were getting past every play. Everything that I saw, the O-line was not there giving him any time.
I don't think Brock had a bad game, but he definitely has to be better.
Yeah.
And that definitely has to show up, and we're going to get to this, but that definitely has to show up this week because no CMC, no Debo.
Yeah.
So if he wants to shut everybody up, it has to start this week.
He had an up and down game, in my opinion. He made some phenomenal throws. I mean, just Montana-esque, hitting people in the breadbasket in stride. They were great. And then it was some throws where he stared people down and didn't look to another read. And it was like, whoa, what happened there? So, yeah, he was kind of hit or miss. And I don't know if that was because of the rush, trying to just get the ball out quick. But it wasn't his typical, usual straight line self. It was a little and then a little dip and then up here. So, but those games happen. I mean, it wasn't terrible overall. It just wasn't his normal self.
No, and I thought he was also holding on to the ball a bit too long. Certain times. But Maddie, what are your thoughts?
I couldn't be any more excited for John Feliciano to come back and take over the center position.
I was thinking the same thing.
Because I think as soon as that happens, this line will straighten correctly right out into the correct scenario and everything will work the way it is supposed to. I think that is the biggest issue right now. And I don't normally like to point out anything, but there has got to be some improved play on that center line. There just has to be. I don't care who it is, how it gets that way. I don't care, whatever it is, it's just a coach up thing. But yeah, no, that's not going to work. That's not going to work in this offense. And for his, we want to sit here and we want Brock to be better and we want him to do more things and things of that nature. And, that's all fine, well and good. I'd love to see him take that next step up too. But if he's going to get sacked 6 times a game, and have a wide receiver 2 or whatever the hell wide receiver it is. Hello, Don. That isn't going to be on time, just a little off, a little bit of timing, and still ends up leading this weird ass league right now on passing yardage and has a rating of 96.3%, 96.3 too. It's not like Brock is playing absolutely terrible.
Right.
Nobody's doing a hell of a lot to help him, to be quite honest with you. So, 1-1 at this point, pretty good. Whatever the reasoning was, whether they were just physically weren't ready, mentally weren't ready after the Monday night thing, or as what my dad used to say, maybe they got caught sniffing their own farts a little bit this week. Yeah, we're really good, aren't we? Maybe that loss will drop them back to earth. And look, there's a perfect way. You've got a wounded, unbelievably wounded Rams team right now, and you have a chance to go in to your home away from home. This is the vacation home, right? Yes. They have a chance to go to the vacation home and get right and get ready and then get back on track, right? But I think we're going to spend a lot of this year not knowing what we're going to get from this team on a week-to-week basis. And I don't think it's just because of the varying injuries, right? CMC, Debo, holdout people, all that stuff. I think it's just a matter of this team still hasn't figured out its identity yet, for this year or what. I don't know if it's an identity crisis because Christian McCaffrey's not there and they've been running the offense through him for so long, but it seems to be an epidemic around this league this year, too. People are rushing for 5 yards a carry. It's what are we doing? Stop throwing the ball. You don't need to throw the ball. Throw the ball only when you have to throw the ball, right? That's it. That's what you do. And Brian Flores is going to go for broke, dude. This is a guy who is absolutely going to take that Minnesota Vikings coaching staff is so unbelievably underrated. Kevin O'Connell's really, really good. The dude's a QB whisperer. And then you get another guy who is head coach potential, and he's basically in charge of the defense, and he is just Mr. freaking Wizard. Like, that's not a team that, I want to get any sort of talent, because that's not a place I want to have to go play. That's not a team I want to have to see again. Do I think they would come in here and play differently in say, Levi's? Yes, absolutely. 49ers have beaten the Vikings before in Levi's, but that's not a defense that I need to see them play again anytime soon. However, I would feel a little bit more confident if Purdy has seen it a third time, because he'll have seen it a third time, right? So even if things are different, he can kind of be ready for that. And look, even with 6 sacks last week and kind of had one hand tied behind his back, with some guys in that offensive line really just kind of tired, overheating,
not
their ass beat, whatever you want to call it.
Out for lunch.
94 versus the Chiefs week 2 redux, when like 4 guys were injured on the offensive line and like Steve Young was getting chased all over the place. I think he got sacked like 7 or 8 times. Kind of the same vibe, those are that gunslinger stuff. And, we forget sometimes Brock Purdy's still learning on the job too, but he's learning at a higher level, right? He's learning up there, right? He's not doing the Caleb Williams learning that's happening right now, or the Bo Nix learning. He's doing the high wire in front of everybody learning, because every time the 49ers play, people are watching. And if they don't play well, he's going to get the blame for it. As Terradome said, even in reality, if you're blaming Brock Purdy for this loss, just tell me you don't watch football by saying that. Just say it. Just say, I don't really watch football. I just watch the quarterback. Just tell me that, and I'll nod and I'll shake my head and I'll go, okay, because that's all you need to do.
Did anybody, as far as play calling, did anybody feel that it was pretty vanilla? Or like the way we started off, it was not running the ball?
There's this tendency to fall in love with the throwing. And I don't understand that, because when you do that, to me, you're walking away from the identity that this team has built itself on, right? Running, defense, and then you throw, right? Like, I understand wanting to throw it a little bit, but like, we get into these stretches where it's like pass, 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 pass. And it's like, hi, could we maybe get a couple of 5 yards on these runs? It's just, I don't get it. Like, go back to that mentality. Until somebody makes you not be able to run, don't stop running. We're here to win the football game. I don't care if Brock Purdy throws for 100 yards. If they win 60-59, I don't care. I don't care.
Do you think not having CMC in the game impacted the game plan?
I think it is going to, because it does a little bit, Ty, only from one aspect of it. Jordan Mason does not run the same type of route that Christian McCaffrey would run. Like, Jordan Mason's good. Okay. He's going to run the ball. You're really not going to notice a hell of a lot of difference probably in terms of the running the ball stuff with them, but he's not as like Christian McCaffrey's like a polished wide receiver, also playing running back, right? Mason just doesn't have that. So I'm guessing that probably limits a couple of things, not to the extent that it should be so damaging that this team just can't do anything anymore, right? But they really did. We talked about it last year, guys. Like, we thought that they were just a little too reliant on Christian McCaffrey all the time. And this is one of the reasons we were worried about that, right? Like, it's like they don't, oh no, that was our identity. What do we do? Like,
well, we also had Debo, but now we have neither of them.
Right.
So, that's going to be, it's the Rams and they're also hurt. But I was thinking, that may have played into the game plan to try and throw it more.
Right. But if you go back to week 1, when we played the Jets, how many times did we run Jordan Mason?
30 something.
Because they suck at the run.
Right.
True. But we could have started off that way against the Vikings.
Yeah, there was none of that. Like, there was no attempt to set the attitude early in this game. It was really bizarre. It was like they decided they were going to let the Vikings set the pace and then everything just, went to hell in a handbasket. Balls getting tipped up in the air, double covering a wide receiver who goes for 97 yards. Just
Mhm.
piss poor technique on trying to cut off a bit of a field. Like, just poor Fred Warner out there, man, playing his absolute ass off.
Yes.
Almost still willed that team to a victory with the way he played.
Yep.
Like, if not for Fred Warner, that's probably 42-10 Vikings, guys.
Mm.
Like, Fred Warner was out there kicking ass and just taking names all over the place. And apparently his post-game his post-game locker room stuff was not like, he was not super like uplifting and cheerful for everybody. So
nor should he be. He shouldn't be.
I'm hoping to see an absolute focused yet pissed off 49ers team rolling into SoFi this week.
I got no problem
you're
with
right.
the game plan. I don't mind
Right,
passing. We got the best quarterback in football. We got the best weapons in football. Throw that bitch. It doesn't matter. If we execute, no team can stop it. And we didn't execute. The one wrinkle that I would have liked to see is, just a few consecutive runs here and there. Like when we started out the third quarter and Jordan Mason picked up 9.95 yards, run it again. Don't just automatically switch off to the pass. Like, you can run it again. It's cool. That's the only wrinkle I would have liked to see. And, when we got down to the goal line, maybe you run it there. But no problem overall. We got the weapons to get it done. They just didn't execute. Line didn't block. Quarterback stared down some receivers sometimes. Some guys didn't catch the ball. It is what it is.
Got it intercepted.
It happens. I mean, the ball literally slipped out of Brock's hands like it was a downpour, like it was raining in a dome. Like, was it moist in there? Was the humidity high? What kind of foolishness is going on? It's
According
the
to
weirdest thing
Jess,
ever.
yes.
Yeah. Pretty much.
It was moist. It was very moist.
Yeah.
So, Maddie said it before. It was almost like, being in like a greenhouse, to be honest.
Oh, really? Oh.
It was
Sheesh.
gross. But yeah, I mean, the play calling on the goal line. Come on now.
See, that was like, what the F is that? What the F is that?
That's a lot of overthinking is what that is. That's what it seems like to me. That's a bunch of, I'm going to outsmart this person because I think I have to, when in reality, just roll. Yeah. And and Tara, like, I understand that ratio if like the 49ers had been behind some insane amount, right? Like 2-3 touchdowns here or there, but like, that wasn't the case. There was no need to just start slinging and chucking all over the place. Like, there's absolutely no reason for this team to ever abandon the run game. None. Unless they are so unbelievably far behind that you can do nothing. It blows me away. Absolutely blows me every time, especially in a game like this. Because this is the second time they've gone up to Minnesota and really done the same thing. This is almost a carbon copy of the Monday Night Football game from last year.
So let's just blame Steve Wilkes. It's all his fault.
I thought he was on the sideline, though, for this.
Well, he needs to go back up to the booth.
Yeah, come on.
Every year, he's got to switch it up. That's what it is.
What if we put him in like one of those floating, like, remember like Revenge of the Sith in the Senate, and like they've got those little floaty things that come down when people talk. You put him in one of those, he just floats around, and he's there for everywhere. You can put him in the booth, you can put him down.
To move him around all game.
Can we blame Jimmy G?
Yeah.
We could blame him.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, he wasn't there
Enough
last year.
to go
He will.
around.
When the offense scored 17 points last year, we blame Steve Wilkes. We got to blame him again. We got to be consistent. It's what we do. No, on a serious note, though, Matt, you brought up a choice. You brought up something how, like, instead of chucking the rock all over the field, switch it up, go back to what you know. This is something that we've spoken about on this show many a times over. The in-game adjustments just don't seem to come sometimes. And this was a game where I was like, okay, like you said, we weren't down. We could have pounded that rock and gotten back into it. Like time wasn't really an issue until late in the game, right? We could have easily adjusted, pounded the rock, did something different, and gotten back into it. It never happened. And if you go back and you watch this game again, they have a cornerback who was number one. I don't even know his name. That dude couldn't cover anybody. Whoever he lined up on our offensive right side. If you watch, George Kittle made him stumble and fall down. Debo got past him. Ayuk got past him. For some reason, no one saw that and said, we need to pick on him.
Advantage.
You mean like in the
That
Super
would've
Bowl last year
easy.
when Dre Greenlaw got hurt and then they just immediately started throwing at his replacement the entire
I'm just
time?
saying, if
And
you
that there was
identify a
no
weak link,
sort of coverage change rolled over into sort of
Hey,
a thing.
hey,
Once again, this sort of thing rears its ugly head. Who is doing the game planning? Like, who is doing the in-game stuff? Who is in Shanahan's ear? Who is his Ernie Adams, right? Like, who is that guy that's like, hey, Kyle, hi. Listen, I know you're like in your bag right now and you're calling like bootleg flea flickers and all this other stuff, but we could run this rock right down their throat without a thing. And then right after that, if we throw it one, he's going to fall at the 35-yard line. So just pick someone you want to throw it to. Maybe let's go with BA, get his confidence going a little bit. And then like he could double move him and then he falls down and then BA scores and then we're kind of right back in it. But I don't know if he has that. I've read a lot of different things. And if he does, that person sucks. Okay, that's what I'm just gonna come right out with. They suck
that person
badly.
needs to go.
They need to find a new damn job.
Yeah.
I don't think he has that person though.
I don't think he
I don't
does
think so
either.
Yeah.
I don't
But
think he does either.
He needs somebody. Somebody needs to talk about it. Step up.
Kyle,
Like, hey,
Kyle,
you need to look at the
okay?
iPad, the
He's like-
window,
he's like-
whatever they're using.
Camera number one,
This.
zoom right here.
Look at this dude. He can't cover a baby. Like I could get out there and get open. Like, look.
I will do it for free if you want. Like I will come out there.
I'll volunteer. Right?
Hey, like give me one of those little slots on the top of the end zone, one of those little in the room, right? Where you can look down in the 300 section. I don't even need anything. Just put me on the booth and I can just be like, listen,
Give Maddie a clipboard.
come on. I don't even need that. I need nothing.
Yep.
Give me my Microsoft
Board and an
tablet,
earpiece.
and I would be like, I could draw a picture of you know what? You could do AI now. You could do like an image of this number one trying to cover the baby.
Give him an etch a
There
sketch.
you
then
go.
Gotta
he
have
would
your
fall
card
down.
over
It
your-
would be like, see, look at this. He can't cover the baby. The baby's scoring a touchdown.
Cover the baby.
Take a picture of like Debo's kid or BA's kid or something, like have one of them scoring the touchdown. Be like, see, look, that's that guy.
He's open.
It's right there.
What do you guys think Nick Bosa did?
Actually, I thought he did pretty well. He actually got a sack. That happened. We saw that.
Yeah,
It
two.
was witnessed.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was two, right?
And
Yeah,
that was clutch. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I really should be, Kenny. I'm not gonna lie to you. That should be like my life goal. But here
Should
I
be the
am
thing. Yeah.
in Maine. Yelling at people who, you know, clearly aren't going to listen to me in that scenario, right? But this is what I've wanted to see from Nick Bosa all along. Like, I get it, dude. You're held on every play, but guess what? We have gone to the social media. We have done the things. We have pointed it out. No one gives a damn. Just make the sack. Leonard Floyd had a rough week. Nothing there. The only two people that really showed up on defense this week, I thought, were Fred Warner and Nick Bosa, to be honest with you. Fred Warner was on another planet.
Yeah.
But Nick Bosa played really well, too. He actually looks like he's Nick Bosa again, right? Like
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Like, I feel I feel really good about him. I'm knocking on all the wood right now. I feel really good about him. Somebody's gonna have to step on the other part of that line. And they're still having problems shutting down that run game though. Nick Sorensen hasn't fixed that yet.
That's Steve Wilkes. Steve Wilkes.
I'm sorry. That's Steve Wilkes.
Steve Wilkes again.
Yeah, Steve Wilkes. Yeah.
The ghost of Steve Wilkes.
Yeah. I think Bosa played very well. He had a good game. He was relentless out there. He was doing his thing. I like the pursuit. I like the not giving up on the play, still getting after it. And that's what you want to see. I got to give a shout out to Deommodore Lenoir. He also had a darn good game. He's being forced on the run, doing what he needs to do in pass coverage. Like, I wish he could stay on the outside more, but I understand the situation. But he's playing his 2 games in a row. He's played his tail off.
Yeah, I thought Malik Collins and Javon Hargrave would have a good game as well. Yeah, something's got to give here. This Rams game definitely has to be the get right game.
Isn't it always though? Like we always get the Rams after some type of weird loss, and it's like, oh great.
And you know what? In this game though, it has to be like a real convincing win though. Like it can't just be like by like 3 points. Like we have to,
I was about to say 24-20, and they're like, "Ooh, that was closer than it should have been." Yeah,
it definitely. We have to blow.
If this comes down to Jake Moody, I want everyone on like double secret probation. Really, is what it boils down
to. Because it shouldn't.
No doubt, as it should be. They're badly hurt. They have way more injuries than we do, but we also should walk in there and win with a healthy team playing against a healthy Rams team. And if we walk in there and barely squeak it out, then there's some soul searching to do in that coaching staff and the player, locker rooms to figure out what's going on with this team. That, a holdout is one thing, you guys got to get it right, get themselves together. This Rams game, I think, is going to be very telling for how the season is going to start, the trajectory of the season, because I think it really is the get right game. It's back on track, get your together game, and go out there and get back to what we saw week 1, which was dominating on all the fronts, and really putting together a good game. And it should be a resounding win. And if it's not, then that's not going to be a really, really good sign.
So is there a silver lining that we can build off of after this Vikings loss?
Absolutely. JP Mason is still running hard, still doing his thing. He is a beast out there. And he's showing like he's really an exceptional running back. He's really upped his game. And they didn't hit him much on passes, but he secured the ball on a few tough catches. So he's looking like Mr. Reliable, which is what we need. We mentioned the defense, Fred doing his thing, Nick Bosa stepping up, Lenoir. Hey, that's great. The rotation of the defensive line actually wasn't too bad. A lot of guys came in and made sneaky good plays here and there, but it wasn't consistent. But so that rotation that they got going on and bringing those guys in and keeping them fresh, they look good. Offensively, now I ain't want to gossip, so you ain't hear this from me. Brandon Ayuk was open a few times. Like that pass that went out the side of the end zone on the touchdown, he smoked that DB and was open. If Brock turns, gets his hips open and delivers that ball earlier, that's an easy 6. And there were a couple of plays more where he got open as well, but it seems like the ball was force-fed to Debo. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a Debo game plan or something.
He signed a contract and showed up a few weeks earlier. They might have worked those things out where Brock was looking for him.
Like I said, I don't know. what the deal
I'm not
is.
here to gossip
But-
either. I'm just saying.
But dude is open.
On that very
So-
same play, Ty, though,
Mhm.
and I see what you're saying, like if Brock threw it a little earlier, but if BA actually like stopped too instead of running out of bounds, maybe it would have been different.
That's what I'm saying. Well, that goes back to my earlier point of execution issues. Like there's fault on all parties: the line, the passing, the receiving, the running. Sometimes, like that one Isaac Garendo run where he didn't trust the scheme, and instead of
Yeah.
flowing out behind Trent, he decided to cut it up, and that wasn't the choice to make. And he got immediately pulled for it. Like
Mhm.
Bobby Turner, coach him up, because we can't run Jordan Mason into the ground. But back to BA, there's a lot of rhetoric of where is he? Well, he's getting open. I think his number needs to be called. Same for George. I know George had a good game, but I think George, I hate to sound like a broken record, and we talk about this all the time, like feature George a little bit more. I mean, when you see him catch a pass and he's wide open, that happens a lot.
Preach.
Like, I'm just saying, like, how is this dude that wide open? That's what he does. Feature him.
Mhm.
So there's silver linings there. There's definitely positives. They just need to get back to the execution that they had in game one. But overall, to quote Rebecca, our very own your girl Bex here, they got to clean up some red zone stuff. Because too many field goals and getting stopped in the red zone. That ain't good. But it's a
And
lot of
to
silver
me-
linings.
To me, the silver lining is that it's week 2. And
Exactly.
I think it put them on their heels and a sense of urgency and the focus. All I heard in all the pressers and everybody is the focus, the focus, the focus. Ayuk is like, I'm feeling like I'm coming, I'm back. I'm getting, more confident and comfortable or whatever his whole spiel was. And, Trent's got to work out the kinks too. They missed all of the core stuff. You see the drop off every time these guys hold out. And that's when I'm like, oh, this is not going to go well. We're going to have a slow start with these guys. And then to have injuries pile up on top of that, it's a compounding, effect. So to have it happen in week 2, I think that's the silver lining. The focus, they're all like, the hair on the back of their neck is standing up. The ears are up. They're like, ooh, we got to really, really make sure we don't let this keep getting out of control. So I think it really dials in, hones in everyone's focus back on playing their best football and getting back to making sure they're playing good. They're connecting and working out with each other and working out those kinks that they haven't quite figured out yet with whatever the new playbook has in it, or getting the reps that they need to get in. And so hopefully we see week 3 come back together a little more cohesiveness, even though we're without Debo and CMC. And, they got to step it up, all of them.
Maddie.
I mean, knowing that this team still almost won with as shitty as they played, gives me a little bit of hope,
Yeah.
right? Like at the end of the day, like they played probably, this is similar to like the Cleveland game last year or the Minnesota game on Monday night last year. Same sort of vibe. Everything was just kind of off. Nothing was quite right. They almost fought their way through it, but they didn't quite make it, but they didn't give up and they didn't get blown out, right? So they're typically going to have more talent than the other team across the field from them. And this is something, to quote old Herm Edwards, they can build on this, right? They can kind of move forward. Rams come in at just, and I say come in, even though going there, they just show up at the perfect time. They really do. It's like a buy one, get one free special on steak, when you got to do some grocery shopping for the week, right? It's like, bam, here it
The
is.
BOGO, baby.
Yeah, we got to stack it up, put it in the freezer, right? So yeah, this is an all hands on deck game, and I truly am hoping for a nice little little rebound, a little palate cleanser after that gong show last week. Gong show in the greenhouse, we can call it.
I'd like to see Patrick Taylor before Isaac Garendo.
Either one. Just use them.
Yeah, we don't have what is this deal with like you got to run the back end of the ground 28 times? Like what is that? I don't understand that. There's no I don't know. I just don't know.
Well,
yeah,
I always say, good things happen when the ball's in George Kittle's hands.
Do you? I don't know if I've heard that before.
I know, right? You sure?
I mean, you know, to be honest with you, I was actually going to try. I was going to try for one show not to use that, and it was going to be tonight, but I couldn't help myself.
You made it 40 minutes and 45 seconds.
You almost made it.
It's a gallant effort.
Just have to try and stretch it out every week and add another minute each week, and it just.
Yeah.
Are we previewing the Rams? Are we touching on that yet, or we're waiting?
Not yet.
Okay.
A couple more things.
Gotcha.
How about Kyle going for it on couple fourth downs?
This goes back to that thing about the people in his ear earlier. Like whoever's doing it isn't good at it, or they don't have someone doing it. Because that is another one that just I continue to I don't understand. I don't get it. You're on the road. Take the points. Like stop this analytics crap. You're on the road. Take the points. Say it with me, everybody. You're on the road. Take the points.
Take the points.
Because eventually later you're going to be like, boy, I wish I had those points I didn't take earlier.
Did we go for it more than once? Because in the highlight reel I got to watch they only showed it one time where we went.
I think it was twice.
It was twice. It was one in midfield, near midfield.
Oh, okay. Because the one was
by the goal line.
Right by the goal line, right?
Yeah.
Going down toward the goal. Yeah.
I liked it. The offense was not moving the ball. It's like, look, get it together. You can do this. It's like a few yards. If all pros and stars and blah, blah, blah can't get a few yards, like, come on, execute. And
well, I see your point, but also we were down the whole game. So I feel like I'm with Matt. If you're playing from behind and you've got an opportunity to just tack on three more, take points, tack them on. And, I feel like you have to do that more, especially at this point in the game.
At that point, it was only second quarter, and I forget what the score was. I think it was like one score.
It was like 13-6 or something, 13-6 or something. I think it was or something.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah. What are your biggest concerns on offense and defense going into week 3? Ty?
So on offense is not utilizing everyone, like not scheming, like he did spread the ball around some. Juice got involved. It's always great when Juice gets involved. Kittle got involved, but it seems like it was still a heavy like Debo game plan, and luckily Debo's not there, so that can't be the case. So maybe the ball will be spread around a little bit more. Defensively, it's the concern over seeing the situation and not switching it up. Like if you see you have your backup safety, who's really a special teamer, playing against like one-on-one against the best receiver in football, you might want to say, oh, that's a bad matchup. Let me switch that up. Let me do some things. That wasn't good. But the third down thing, they got to get off the field on third down as well. And really, Isaac Yiadom hasn't impressed me very much yet on coverage. Like it was sometimes in the game, I was like, put in Green at this point, especially when they put in Mustafa. I was like, put in Green. Like, let's see what he can do. So just those things.
Maddie?
center position. The third down stuff has been going on for forever. I've given up on that ever being fixed. I've given up because I don't know what happens this team on third down. Like, I really, third and anything, it's like, uh-oh, I know what's going to happen here. Also, I would love to see George Odom never on the field again, because it seems like every time George Odom is on the field, something goes wrong and George Odom is there. I don't know if he's just like bad luck George or whatever, but it seems like
Bad luck George.
Wow.
every time
No bad
there's
juju.
something going on defensively.
Shake something.
Hey, George Odom. And I'm like,
Stop that.
so
You better go burn some sage in your
I would
newly lit man cave.
I would like the center position to get figured out, and I would like to see a lot less of George Odom. I think if you get those two things straightened out, I think everything else will get a little better. Well, and Feliciano can't come back for, I don't know, a few more weeks. I don't think he's week 11, guys.
Yeah.
Week 11.
Yeah.
He's eligible
out for
to
a while.
return week 5.
Week
Oh.
5.
There you go.
But will he
He's
be
on the
healthy?
10 IR list. That's the question.
Right.
Yeah,
That's why I'm
I'll
saying
say.
week 11. If he gets back sooner, I'll be
Stop
mildly
with the
happy.
week 11. Can you
Week
shake the
11
bird
makes it
again?
easier.
Hey, Debbie Downer.
Week 11.
Turn that frown
Please.
upside down, okay? God.
I'm going to mute you.
Yeah, right.
What? I've been telling you forever. Week 11, man. Like, this team is
Stop
a
it.
mess. Like, got to get their stuff together. They'll be 5-6, 6-5, week 11. Like, then they'll figure it out. That's what's going to happen. It's clearly setting up like that, unless they figure it out sooner. I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
Not a lot of faith
Holy
so far.
moly.
All right, Becca, we're moving on to you.
I was going to say stopping the run is a big concern for me. We didn't do a great job against the Jets with that, and I didn't see it, but it seemed like we had a other than Fred Warner and Nick Bosa, everyone else did not have a great defensive day in Minnesota from the condensed version that I saw, but it seemed like coverage. Justin Jefferson had a day, and there was sometimes in those highlight reels, no one knew where he was, and he just boop had his way. But that to me is figuring those things out. On the offense, I think it's just getting Big Trent back into shape and getting the O-line to do what they did against the Jets week 1. Like, come on, step it back up. What in the world happened in week 2? And maybe it's just they're all just not ready in football shape, and after week 1 they all had a bit of a drop off, and I don't know, but that's got to get cleaned up. That part's crazy.
Who gets your game ball?
Game balls. I mean, from what I saw, it seemed like George Kittle gets a game ball, Jordan Mason gets game ball, Fred Warner gets game ball for sure. Those guys completely get game balls from the highlight reels that I watched. And Jordan Mason, I don't know if I said him or not, but
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
going with,
obviously. Go
Fred
ahead.
Warner for my game ball. Ty,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, I got one for Fred and Diamador Lenore. They were doing their thing. Jordan Mason did his thing, and one for Debo.
That was the other thing. Yeah, Debo played really
Maddie?
well too.
Fred Warner. That's it. Everyone else can pound stand.
Who?
Well then.
Maddie and the bright lights is a cranky boy
That's
tonight.
right.
You know?
You need
I'm a-
to dim
All right,
those
bring
down.
bring
Yeah,
back
we need
dark
to get
Matt.
those lights.
All right, dim.
Lower the wattage, Matt. You're
We're gonna send you some 20-watt light bulbs.
making you cranky.
All right. So before we switch gears to the Lambs game, if you need faithful gear, go on faithfulgear209.com. And it's for the faithful, made by the faithful, for the faithful. Also go on hellafitted.com. Tell Anthony we sent you. And I will get there we go. All right. So moving on.
And just to shout out Hella Fitted, I have the best sparkly red sequin jacket that gets all the compliments.
Nice.
Awesome. And you can get yours hellafitted.com.
Yes, we can.
All right. Rams game. Who needs to step up?
Everybody but Fred Warner. Seriously. Like literally everybody needs to get it together. Like George better be hydrating more this week. He better not be leaving SoFi need an IV again. That's ridiculous. That should not be happening. I'm joking about that, by the way, of course.
Jess is like, what are you?
Literally
Mhm.
everybody. There
You're
needs to
about
be
to
a
get more
giant.
than muted.
She assumed the position, Matt. She was
Yeah.
ready to take the hoops out and beat
She
your
really
ass.
thought that was going to be it. There needs to be a
Look at
large.
that, across her arms. Those were fighting words.
There needs to be a large popping sound, which would be the sound of everybody removing their heads from their John Brown hindquarters, as the coach from Remember the Titans would
Ooh.
say this
Mhm.
week. So that's
Coach
what needs to
Boone.
happen.
Shout out to Coach
Like,
Boone.
Coach Boone, good call. Good call.
I'm looking for Brandon Ayuk this week.
I think that too. I think BA is starting to get into the groove and feeling it as he's in his own words. We'll probably see a lot more BA.
Imagine if only he'd had 3 weeks where he could have maybe been working with this team as opposed to waiting to sign 3 weeks to sign the same offer that he was offered 3 weeks beforehand. But it's okay.
I have a
It's
feeling
fine.
these little digs are gonna happen all season.
hmm
Until it stops,
tell.
until they win the Super Bowl, yes, because it
Well,
seems like
At
that's
least
not the
until week
priority.
11, right,
Right,
Maddie? At
week
least
11.
until week 11.
Week 11. Then
But
after
we
that,
did
I'm
it
going to
every
be
year
like,
with everyone else who's held out. Debo
Yeah.
looked like crap for half the season. Bosa looked like crap for half the season. They're equal opportunity. I mean, come on. You want to hold out and you walk on the field, you look like crap after you get the deal of your life. Well, I'm sorry. We're going to be critical of you. Comes with the territory. And that's the cheapest, easiest shot you're going to take.
Sin nails it. Get off the milk carton. We know where you are. Okay. You're not missing.
Kai, what do you think?
Offensive line, just step up and be better, as you should be. I'm gonna say Isaac Yadam and whoever is going to be that 3rd/4th wide receiver.
It would be great if we had Ricky Pearsall.
Wouldn't it though? Because
But we
I
do
feel
have
like
a
if
Jacob
you run
Cowing.
the score, then
We
you
do.
get
We
yeah.
do. And
You
I
run the
think
score,
Jacob
like,
Cowing needs to
get in and
be
play.
put more into the offense.
I do too. Through 2 games, he hasn't been used at all. He hasn't even touched the field. And I'm like, you know what? He needs to be out there.
Yeah.
Because when we talk
I
about,
think
players that can get separation and be
Mhm.
a different factor with his speed, that he's it. We've seen him do it in preseason. So, get him out there with the ones. Get him out there with Brock. And let's see what he can really, really do. With all these other pieces around him. He can be
we've
quite a
seen
small little
Chris Conley
player.
out there.
Yeah.
I think we
Mhm.
need to see Jacob Cowing for sure.
Yeah, Ronnie Bell has gotten out there, everyone but him. And it's all right, just put the kid out there. He's a receiver. Put him out there.
Maddie, thoughts? Jacob Cowing out
Yeah.
there?
I would love to see some Jacob Cowing out there, quite frankly. Why are you going to draft these people if they're not going to play? I don't understand that. I've never understood that philosophy. Don't they develop by playing? So you got to let the dude play. So let's go. Let's see what you drafted. Okay. Because we're not going to know unless you play him. And if he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, whose friggin' fault is that?
Hello.
Sure. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Maddie, you are on one tonight.
He's
I'm
a bold
I'm,
day.
I'm
Womp womp.
He got 2 weeks picked up in him.
Did you eat
Man.
Sour Patch Kids before you came on?
No, not at all. Like it's just,
You're like,
and
"You're
guys,
not doing
I
the
promise
job
you,
we
if
wanted
we
to
had
have."
been, guys, I promise, if we had been together last week, I would have told you guys that I felt horrible about this game last week for all the reasons that ended up showing up on the field. It just, you just got that vibe all week that stuff was going to be, you know. So it sets up perfectly. You could see it up ahead of the game. Bang, you know, we got the Rams, we got everything going, and then Debo gets hurt. Now McCaffrey gets hurt. So now, like, this is, you know, we're really going to see what Brock Purdy is made of, right? And I really don't want to be hyperbole here because that seems very dramatic. But, like, how does he play without two of his biggest weapons? How does he play when the offensive line still isn't at 100%? How does he play when his wide receiver isn't quite at midseason form yet? This is the stuff that's going to go into like what he ends up getting for a deal and everything else. This is a huge stretch, not just for this season, for 2024, for the 2024 49ers. This is a huge stretch for the 49ers franchise moving forward, and this is a huge stretch for Brock Purdy, the quarterback. Massive, and it all starts this Sunday in Los Angeles.
And that, to me, that's a great
Inglewood,
point.
pardon
It's
me.
a huge stretch because we need to get the get right game and roll that into, because in mid-season, we rolled into everybody coming off of their bye weeks in a row leading into ours for the 3 quarters of the season there. And then you get into the back half. And if we stumble into that stretch, it's going to be a disaster. So they definitely have to get something going against Rams.
We can already tell this division is going to be a pain in the ass this year. Okay. This entire division, top to bottom. It always is, but even more so this year because it's going to be a little different, right? You know what I mean? Because Arizona's a little bit more spicy.
Yeah.
We don't really know what to expect from Seattle yet because they've got the whole new regime, right? They might fall, their wheels might fall off this week.
Yeah.
Rams might figure it out in a couple of weeks, or maybe nobody ever gets healthy again and they do what they did 2 years ago, which is fall apart. So, but everybody's still going to be a gigantic pain in the ass. Division is going to be tough. The fact that they've got the bye weeks against everybody good, like, you know, once again, one arm tied behind our backs against the rest of the league. Who would have thought it, you know? So this is huge. This Sunday is this is a big, if you don't want to have happen what happened in 2020 happen this year, you have got to win this week.
Yeah.
Because you lose this week, there's going to be some major questions, and I would not want to be in any part of the actual media stuff if they lost this week coming up, because it's all Brock Purdy's fault. Brock Purdy. What's wrong with Brock Purdy? And it's never going to stop, man.
He really is Mr. Irrelevant, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, that's the only argument that any person seems to hold their hat on.
Yeah.
Like, I saw a thing this week where the dude's like, well, you know, Sam Darnold was a top 5 pick. Whoever Brock Purdy take it. Guys, folks are wrong all the time, okay? You can't just keep going back to that late round thing. That was 3 years ago. You got it wrong in your mock draft. Let it go.
Right.
Okay? That's where we're at. Like, he ended up being better than the other quarterbacks in that class. He ended up being better than most of the quarterbacks in the 2021 class as well, maybe all of them. So that's just how the cookie crumbles. That's not, if that's your only argument, like, once again, tell me you don't watch football without saying that I don't watch football, because that's what you're doing.
But you're right, they'll lay the blame at his feet anyway.
100%.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
he'll be fine. He'll play fine.
Yeah, I think he will too.
No Debo, no
Should.
CMC. He's been here before. He'll be fine. And it's not like our cupboards are bare.
Right.
Hello.
Yeah, we're not going out.
We still got weapon there.
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
BA.
Look what's coming off a bench. There's another weapon.
Conley, we got plenty of receivers for him.
Yeah.
To throw to.
How about
We
Jake
have the
Salbert
ultimate-
stepping up and being tight end too? All of a sudden, he's another weapon.
Yeah.
And Albert would look looked good in the few plays that I saw in the highlight reel.
And we also have the ultimate weapon right over Jess's right shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
See,
You can make anybody look
that's
good for a play.
That's the key to the game this week, because he's going to be on one. He's hearing it, and he has an ego, and he's going to be like, I got out coached. Oh, it's on. It's on. I'm putting the 40. It's on.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
And by 40, we mean like 40 rushing attempts, maybe 50. Like, I want this to be like that Monday nighter a couple of years ago against the Rams, where they dumped like 45 carries on them. Give it all the way. Boom, 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 boom. Run them right off the field.
So X factors on offense. Ty, go.
Hold on. I know what we need to do.
Okay. What?
I know what needs to happen. We need
What's
to send Jess to the hotel so she can have her Saturday talk with Kyle. If you go back through the history, whenever it's happened, the 49ers have been victorious in glorious fashion. She's the secret weapon. So we're going to chip in and send Jess to the team hotel so she can have her talk with Kyle. Boom. There it is. All righty. What was the question?
They should listen. They should listen.
Just saying.
They should.
You should tune in.
All right. X factors, offense, go.
Oh, I think it's going to be Juwan Jennings. I think we'll see a lot more of him, and he's been playing outstanding. Like what a way to start the season for him. Like, you can see he's taking his game up a notch. So I'm looking for him to carry the load. Pause. Left by Debo. He's going to be doing his thing. It's time. It's George Kittle time. It's George Kittle time. Like, I don't see anyone on the Rams who can match up with him. And I know I say this a lot, but truly, who can match up with him? Nobody.
That's true.
Nobody. On defense, I got Nick Bosa. Their line is a little bit suspect. So I can see him having another good game on that fast track field. That weird surface they got going on there. So yeah, I can see him being the guy.
X factors on offense, I'm going Brock Purdy. I'm also going Kyle Shanahan. Because he also needs to up his game this week. Defense, I'm actually going to go Nick Bosa, and I'm going to go some Leonard Floyd.
Both of them should have a good
he was
game.
obviously non-existent last week, and hopefully, like I said, this is a get right game, bounce back game, whatever you want to call it, and definitely looking for Leonard Floyd to show up this week. Becca, what do you think?
I'm going with Trent Williams this week on X factor on offense. I think Trent needs a get right game himself to really, work out the kinks and get himself back into playing shape and solidify that O-line a little bit more. And on defense, my X factor, I think I'm going with Talanoa Hufanga, who supposedly is going to play again, and see what our boy can do there and what impact he has in the game. So those are my two.
Yes, Huff was a full participant today in practice.
Yeah.
Maddie.
Defensively, Malik Collins and Javon Hargrave need to get up and make sure that Kyron Williams can't get any sort of momentum going at all, because that's the only way that I think the Rams can hang around in this game, is if they're able to utilize their run game and really lean on Kyron Williams a lot. This run defense has left a lot to be desired really since the beginning of last year. I think they peaked. Honestly, I feel like this run defense peaked again the game against Pittsburgh to start last year, and they haven't been as good since. So I would like to see that start to get cleaned up this week, and this is a great week to do that, particularly when Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are not going to be playing in this football game. Also, getting that pressure up the middle is going to force Matt Stafford to have to run outside, which is exactly what you want for Leonard Floyd or Nick Bosa or Fred Warner or pick an attacker here, right? Offensively, I think the X factor to me this week, just in terms of like attitude, in terms of all the things that might be happening this week, is going to be Jordan Mason. I think he's going to have a large workload this week.
Yep.
He's going to hang on to the ball. No fumbleitis or anything, which he's been really good about. Maybe get him involved in the passing game a little bit too, even though he's not CMC. I think you can still screen him up quite a bit, and maybe even flare some stuff out for him a little bit as well. So I think those really are the two that kind of stand out at middle of that defensive line, and then the running back, because I think the running back is going to be key in this game.
And let's not make it so Tutu Atwell has a really good game.
Yeah, I don't want any of those guys to do anything because we'll never hear the end of it. Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington, that's the guy I'm actually worried about. He's probably the most talented out of all of them. Demarcus Robinson, like, yeah, Jordan Mason has been in. That's the other thing too. Jordan Mason doesn't have to come off the field. Sometimes guys have to come off the field because they can't block they can't block a damn thing. They can't block people on Twitter. But like in this case, he was been able to pick it up.
All right. Any closing thoughts on this game for week 3?
Not enough faithful showing up. Only 60%. That's low. Should be up in 70s. I'm a little disappointed in the faithful. What's up with that? What's up with that? Inflation's going down. We got money. What's up with that? Stop selling off your tickets. There was way too much green in game 1. I was there. They was hooting and hollering their JETS crap. Way too much. Stop selling your season tickets, folks, to the other team. You can sell them to us, not the other team. Get it right.
Speaking of NinersNE.com, 23% off tickets now with promo code GetWellSoon23. That's not a joke. But GetWellSoon23, get 20% off tickets.
That was the alley-oop, by the way.
Boom.
See how you did that?
Thank you.
That was a good setup.
That was Gary Payton to Sean Kemp,
Spiking.
man. That was absolutely perfect.
Taking
that
it back to the Sonics
there,
days.
Right down. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's go to that 2-minute warning, and then we're out.
And go.
Yeah, Becca.
Well, I didn't get to watch the game. I was in France, and I had no access anywhere to find any place to watch. But the highlight reel was not my favorite. But I do think this week will be a get-right game, and they need to pull it together. They all seem to have their head in the game the right way now. So we'll see what happens this week. But as always, go Niners and shake off the bad juju, and let's get right this week.
Maddie B.
Don't do what you did last week. Like, come out, win this game, win it handily, get rolling, move forward, get right, get better, start getting people healthy, start bringing people in, make the Death Star fully operational. Get it there. Also, NinersNE.com, promo code GetWellSoon23 for 23% off tickets for the rest of the year.
There you go. Minnesota's the new Seattle. It's just weird things happens there to the team where we just shoot ourselves in the foot, block punt, ball just slips out your hand for an INT. Weird stuff happens where we're not victorious. Luckily, we do not play there every year. So forget that whole we haven't won here in 30 years crap. It's only been 8 games, small sample. No need to panic. We've seen this team do this before. They'll get right and move on. Go Niners.
Bounce back game. Let's get it. Shout out to the chat. You guys were great. See you next week. We got Damon Bruce on next week. So tune in. We'll be on at 9:00 next Wednesday. And as always, go Niners. See you next week. bang, bang.
Don't forget about the Golden Heart Fund. Oh, it's right there.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
That
yes.
too.
Don't forget.
Yeah.
All right. See ya.
And of course, for the upstart 49ers, they're 6 yards away from Pontiac. 3rd and 3.
We'll see a pickup sometime on the right side, possibly.
Montana looking, throwing in the